have truth, But me, I know that, listen, in everything you find, every wahala you find yourself in, you play a part. You understand? Me, John Obidi, that some of you respect and look up to. All right, I did not become this person by pitying myself or by not submitting to accountability or by glossing over my own mistakes. I'm not God. I'm a human being, and as long as I'm trapped in this human imperfect shell, I will also make mistakes. I will also be a victim of human misjudgment. I will also be a victim of human miscalculation. I will miscalculate. All right, I'm trapped in this human body, in this human shell. It's perishable. All right, this human body is a perishable shell. It is made imperfect. All right, you may want to think, oh, we are gods. We're not any gods, anything. As long as you are trapped in this encasing, you are trapped in this body that is regulated by brain, and this brain is imperfect. The brain is regulated by certain things that we call hormones. If one is deficient or one is higher than the other, in a certain proportion, you will start to malfunction. You are regulated by multiple things: testosterone, estrogen, serotonin, norepinephrine, oxytocin. What else is there? Dopamine. What's one for stress? Cortisol. There are a lot of them. Endorphins. And by the time one of these things, by no fault of your own, is deficient or lacking or out of balance, you just start tweaking. You start misbehaving. All right, and it's not your fault. It's not the evil spirit. It's part of the human condition. It's part of the human condition, right? I think was it in the newsletter I said last week. I was talking just a little bit about biohacking and all this. And this is just unrelated. When I start speaking, other things just start coming to mind. Yeah. There's some of you here that, and maybe like 1% of you. This one I'm about to say is for 1% of you. There's some of you that feel like you are a misfit and you are just messing up at the game of life. And your greatest deliverance would just be to go and see how one hormone is out of balance. I'm telling you, it's just that in Africa we are typically late to these things, and that's fine. But that's why we have things like night school for people who are willing to think outside of the box. Some of you think, oh, I'm just chronically a screw up in life. I'm just chronically fucking things up. You may not be an evil spirit. It may not be that you are not intelligent. It may not be that you are not brilliant. It may not be like you're just by the way you were born. One hormone is out of sync with the rest. And by knowing that, the resolution to that problem is just a simple supplement you should be taking on the regular and you'll be fine. It happens. There's some people, I've heard of this thing most of the time in women, all right, where they're going through a particular thing over and over and over again and they can't quite get past it, and maybe they've been going through it all their lives, and then one day they just go and check and they just tell them it's a hormonal imbalance that can be easily solved with a supplement or maybe a regular injection they'll take, and it clears all the problems. It happens, Anyway, that just by the side. So what I'm saying is that we're not perfect. The best of man is still man, all right? As long as you're encased in this imperfect container, human beings will make mistakes. What makes you different is if you can say, this particular thing, me cause them. Or, me cause the whole thing, this is where I contributed. This is what I should have done. This is what I should have avoided doing. Own up. I cannot start hearing you in the first place if you're not mature enough to own up. Right? So where did all this rubbish they post on social media about women and they make jokes, women and accountability. Like this, I can't even start listening to you if you cannot be accountable to yourself. Don't confess to me, but to yourself. You'll be gaslighting yourself. No, now. Anyway, which is why I am incredibly impressed when someone is asking for help. But while they are saying it, they're also pointing out, yes, this is my predicament, this is my problem, but I see where I contributed. I'm very impressed because that is step one. Without me saying, you're already on your way to resolving that thing. All right. Anyway, that is just your own thing. John Sins, it will be said, how do you know what hormones are not balanced? Yeah, so there are specific diagnostic centers that you can go to, right? And they test you for hormones. Most of us in the third world, all we grow up knowing that you go to the lab for is to test malaria, typhoid. But there's a whole spectrum of things you can test for. There are specific diagnostic labs in Lagos, Abuja, some parts of Nigeria, where they can test for hormones. And the specialists, they know what levels each hormone should be, and they can test specifically. It's available. Just people don't know. And there's no sensitization towards that, right? For example, as a man, one thing that marks us as men, as males, is the preponderance of the hormone called testosterone, all right? And the testosterone is what gives you motivation, sometimes aggression. It gives you drive. It gives you that sexual interest in the female gender, right? In varying ways and to varying degrees, but that's what it is, right? And so when you see a man just having unexplained depression, you can't point to anything, but you wake up in the morning, you just don't feel like doing anything, you just start losing interest in life, just having all these pessimistic thoughts. Sometimes that thought is not organic. It's possible that you're facing a drop in testosterone. I know what I'm saying sounds weird, but trust me, I will not tell you anything I am not grounded in or I'm not researched. All right? There's some things that are messing with your head. And again, I don't know if this applies to women as much, so I'm being very careful, but I know when it comes to men, I know this one for certain, right? That as a man, there are general causes of sadness, right? Maybe you were duped, you lost a lot of money, or you lost a job, or woman served you breakfast. Okay, these are organic, sorry about that one. All right? These are organic sources of sadness. Everybody feels sadness, it's normal, but I'm talking about all these unexplained lack of drive. All right, it's not like you're a lazy man necessarily. Maybe you're lazy, I don't know, but it's not always that he's a lazy man or he doesn't have drive or he's not any. It's possible that the hormone that should naturally push you into doing these things is deficient in that time, and there are many things that cause a drop in testosterone in men. All right, but first things first, you've got to go and get tested. All right, I don't have. See, people are going to change the conversation now because of all your questions. See, Joy says, so men also have mood swings. What was I telling that? The world of men, it be like confront. As a woman, you cannot know men unless somebody inside the confront is telling you what men are and how men think, right, and what men do. You cannot know men. Because men don't talk. We don't have podcasts, so we just go and talk. Men know women very easily. Women don't have any secrets. Small thing, podcast. They will look at secrets of podcast. When a woman looks for attention, start tweeting. You'll be seeing your secrets there. We know how women think. We know how women hide. We know how they get, shit. We know all those things because one of people inside, but they will touch you one day, you just go start tweeting. You get on podcast and be doing cruise, right? So we know the world of women very easily. But the world of men is hidden. You can't know men. Unless you meet somebody inside the confront of men to start snitching and tell you how men think. All right. Now, one thing that most people will not tell you is that mood swings, yes, men face it. All right. But the thing is that when men, we all know women have mood swings. All right. And we know how to explain it. The problem with men's mood swings is that when men feel it, they don't know what to call it and they don't know what to attribute it to. It's like double confusion because men should have mood swings. Why am I having mood swings? I didn't have mood swings. I need to work hard. I just catch 22. Yeah. But you have to accept that yes, men have mood swings, and depending on the variables in your life, everybody's different. It could be a hormonal deficiency. Matter of fact, hormonal replacement therapy, especially something called TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, is big business in America. I hear that it's also. You might find it in Lagos or Abuja here and there. I don't know. But in America, it's big business, not even secrets. It's just that Africans, we tend to learn things late, but it's TRT for men like over 50 is big business in America. I'm not telling you to go and do TRT. I'm just telling you what updates in the world. Only a doctor can tell you what is actually going on. All right, let them measure your hormonal levels. It's not a thing that only women do for this or that. Women should do it, yes, but men should do it. All right, and you know your body, especially if you know that for the past month or two, you get ACB. You're not quite sick, but at the same time, you can't explain why there is this this weird, unexplainable depression. You start having suicidal thoughts, or you start having weird thoughts. Those things are not necessarily spiritual thoughts. They're not spiritual. No, they're not organic. I wish there was a way I could have a separate session and just shout into the ears of men. That you see, 70% of the problems that you are facing are solvable, very easily solvable. But they didn't study this in school. Sometimes what can fix your entire life, I'm not joking, I'm not exaggerating, I'm not exaggerating. Sometimes what can fix your entire life is a chemical imbalance that can just be fixed. If it can't be fixed, it can be managed with modern medicine. Modern medicine is so advanced, right? There's so many things that used to be non-fixable in the past, but have very simple remedies. There's some of you, both men and women, you think that you are just messing up at the game of life. You can't keep a stable job. You're always getting broke. Nobody's going to make money, but you tend to be careless with money. It's not that there's something wrong with you. No, you could be ADHD undiagnosed. Because Africans don't like to agree that we can have mental health problems. But these mental health problems have modern remedies. They can easily be solved. Yeah? This is not why we came here. I'm just saying it because I'm seeing some questions and I just naturally moved in that direction. All right? If you're going to get diagnosed, there are simple medications that if you know your problem has been diagnosed as ADHD or some form of autism, don't say, oh, my question. If it is there, it is there. It's not by confessing negative or positive. Once you now know there's so much that modern medicine has that can help you manage yourself, just try it. In less than 1 month under medication, you start flying high. You start achieving things that were difficult for you. Mathematics are also hard for even students. The same thing. Students, adults, workers. Some of you are trying this business, trying that business. It could be ADHD. And modern medicine has an answer to most of these things that we find ourselves struggling with. All right. I know that if you're in the third world, there's limited support for these things, limited information. But guy, we live in the information age now. There's no hindrance. I'm going to send out an email as well, but I forgot. But I'll put it in the inner circle community. There are these. If you have a good lab where you live, it's cool. But there are these genetic testing toolkits that you can order. 23andMe and some other ones. Again, when I say 23andMe and all these guys, I'm very careful because there's all this gist about genetic data being made public and being hacked and all those things. So I'm not endorsing anyone, but I'm just saying that it is important for everybody who is going far. All right. I'm digressing already. This is not why I came here. It's important for everybody who is going far in life to have that genetic testing done. Let me tell you what the benefit of that thing is. All they need is your saliva. And they don't need your blood. All right, you can order it from the US or I don't know whether in the US or whatever country you are. Order the kits, they'll send it to you whatever country you are. You put a little bit of your saliva in there. I think it's your saliva. You send it back to them and they can test. Then you can get the results by email or on their app. It's going to tell you so much about your life, so much about your genetics, about your what your allergies could be, what your food sensitivities could be, what you could be predisposed to. Just a lot of information. All right. So when we say man know thyself, it's not just spiritual or psychological or emotional or esoteric. It's also man know thyself biologically. Okay. Let me just give you guys one small update. I don't like to talk about myself in public, but let me tell you guys. Listen. Some of you always make this comment about, John Obidi, your work rate is intense. Why you're always on fire. You're always so consistent. Always this. My brother, let me tell you, is one of the reasons. Yes, I'm gifted, praise God. One of the reasons that I know myself. I know myself like complete. It's not, know yourself. Like, no, I know myself even genetically. I know things about myself. All right, that give me an advantage. All right, I know what makes me happy. I know what makes me unhappy. Right, I know what makes me strong. I know what makes me weak. I know what makes me productive. I know what makes me unproductive. I know what makes me creative. If I want to sit down now and generate 1,000 money spinning ideas, I know how to get myself into that state. All right. Some of that self-knowledge came from trial and error, but a good deal of that came from me spending good money to know myself biologically and mentally. All right. Yeah. I once posted publicly that you should be the #1 authority on the subject of you. All right, this is a machine, and you should have the manual. All right, the thing is that first of all, nobody will tell you. Second of all, you have to spend money to know yourself even more. I know, but pay the price. All right, I know myself emotionally, psychologically, neurologically, biologically, and of course spiritually. All right, but you know yourself genetically as well. You can pay to get this test. So I don't know how much these people charge, but check all of those things. So some of you who you will work from maybe 9 a.m. to like 11 a.m. and then you're already getting tired. All right, maybe you should try to figure out why. Because if your mates are able to go and work all day and you're getting tired after like 2 to 3 hours, could it be something you can fix? Don't what's the word? Don't stigmatize yourself. Don't just think, oh, this is how I am. I'm not very driven. My brother, I'm telling you something. Yeah, there's some of you that can be performing on Superman levels. And it's not that you are cursed. It's just one small thing that needs to just be tweaked in your body like this and you are good to go. Yeah, this is the kind of truth that sets free, or the kind of knowledge that is power. I'm telling you, like where medical, go and Google and see what even tech CEOs are using. You think it's the normal vitamins that you are taking, that all these tech CEOs are taking. I'm giving you an gist now. It's not normal supplements. Right? The regular man taking supplements or vitamins, exercise, sleep. Yes, all that one should be. But that's not why they're performing on elite levels. There are other compounds. Go and Google. Recently, there are some compounds. There's this thing called peptides, right? That have been debated for the past 10 years. And while they've been going through debates, the FDA did not to approve them and all that. Some tech CEOs have been hiding to take it to improve their performance and their cognitive abilities in private. Now, recently, I think a good number of peptides were just allowed by the FDA for distribution. But all these conversations, we don't have them here locally. How do you hope to compete with your mates there when they are using a different set of weapons for this warfare? Yeah. There's a post I was writing again on the community, but I'm sorry, on the WhatsApp channel, but I didn't send it. Did I put it in my notepad? Let me see if I dumped it in my notepad. I did not. I just deleted it because I didn't think it was. Yeah. But what I was writing out, let me remember what I was writing. I was writing that I'm getting hot. 1 second. Let me just turn on this definition. 1 second. Just stay there. Call me. All right, we're back. I was typing this in the WhatsApp channel yesterday. What was it? That was making sense, but I just deleted it. Yes. So I wrote on the WhatsApp channel. I said, time and chance happen to them all. Time and chance happen to them all. And then on that I said, please, you guys should remind me to start from here when we start night school. Now, if you watch my 3-part series on rainmakers and villagers, I think that was where I publicly gave that teaching on the meaning of time and chance happen to them all. But without going deep into that, let me just really summarize it and then tell you what I mean by that. So Solomon said that I've seen that the race is not to the swift, the battle is not to the strong, but time and chance happeneth to them all. You know what? Let me just put it on the screen. Hold on. Let me put it up on the screen. I need you guys to be engaged in this thing. Time and chance happen to them all. I'm probably going to use NIV. Yeah, that's Ecclesiastes 9 verse 11. NIV, yes, but I need the whole chapter to show. Okay, there we go. Nice. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. And I know it's funny, time and chance in relation to health, but trust me, as you know, I'll bring it all together. 9 verse. Oh, I like this number 10, even though it's not doesn't really talk what we're talking about today. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. Right? For in the realm of the dead where you are going, there is neither working nor planning nor knowledge nor wisdom. So I love this verse so much, but that's not what we're talking about today. So this is what I'm looking at. It says, I have seen something else under the sun. Let me zoom in a bit. I have seen something else under the sun. The race is not to the swift, or the battle to the strong, nor does food come to the wise, or wealth to the brilliant, or favor to the learned, but time and chance happen to them all. All right. It says, Solomon noticed that the race is not to the swift, all right? Neither the battle to the strong, right? Nor does food come to the wise. These are all paradoxes, because they taught us that the race goes to the fastest man. Whether they're right or wrong, well, I guess we'll see. They told us that the battle is to the strong, because you've got to be strong to win the battle. You've got to be swift to win the race, right? Now I tell us that nor does food come to the wise. I thought you told us that wisdom was the principal thing, all right? Or wealth to the brilliant. Are you telling me that I can be wise and not have food? That I can be brilliant and not have wealth? That I can be learned and still not get favor? What are you talking about, King Solomon? And it says here at the end, but time and chance happen to them all. And here was my exegesis of this, right? I said, you know, when you look at time and chance happen to them all, when you say time, all right? When you say time has happened to someone, what does it mean? When you're speaking figuratively, all right? When you're speaking figuratively, you say that when you are speaking figuratively, and you say time has happened to an idea or time has happened to a building, what is it exactly that you mean? We mean by that, right? It means that, if time has happened to an idea, it means that it is now obsolete, all right? It means that it is now old. It means that it has aged out of relevance. That's what it means for time to happen to something or to someone. You have aged out of relevance. It reminds me of the thing that Daniel was asked to come and interpret. The thing that said, mene tekel upharsin, you have been weighed on the scales and found wanting. Anyway, that's a different conversation. But when it says time has happened to this thing, all right? So it means that time happens to them all. It means that, listen, time is always happening to the present definition of what it means to be swift and what it means to be strong. Because when I say the battle is not to the strong, no, under normal circumstances, brothers and sisters, the battle is to the strong. When the race is not to the swift, under normal circumstances, the race is to the swift. Time is always happening to present ideas of what it means to be swift and what it means to be strong. And you have seen that is how empires have fallen and risen. At some point where speed was defined by how fast your chariots could run. The Persians overtook that. The Romans overtook that. At the point where strength was defined by the formation of your foot soldiers that were carrying spears, bows and arrows, the Roman Empire was the strongest. But time happened to that idea. Next thing, the British Empire came up because they came up at a time where speed and strength were redefined by how many battleships you had in your naval fleet. And that's what Britain used to colonize the world. The redefinition happened again. The definition of speed and strength became how many airplanes do you have? And the Wright brothers invented flight. They're American. So power shifted over to the Americans. Because before your ships from Britain would even take off, planes have flown over and dropped bombs on you. All right? And that keeps on redefining itself. And those who survive and thrive are those who are able to not necessarily stay loyal to current definitions of speed and strength. One thing that I hate about how our people talk, there's this nonsense that I hear, especially among lower class Nigerians. Do what works for you, as long as it's working. That is why they are poor. That is why they are poor. That is why they never stretch as far to even touch the hem of the garments of the colonizer. Look at all the things that we celebrate here. They are still not even a grain of sand compared to what is obtainable by the colonizer. Why am I saying this? It does not mean that they are superior necessarily, but when they held the pen, they redefined what it meant to be fast and strong. Whenever a new empire has ever come to light, the winner of that game has been given the pen to rewrite the rules. And everybody who lives under the domain of the colonizer or under the domain of the victor has to update their curriculum on what it means now to be swift and to be strong. Otherwise, we should go back and be fighting Gidigbo for those who know what that means. That will not win your battles anymore. The definition of speed and strength has always been changing and has changed. And for the longest time, the third world African has not accepted. You are not living in your world anymore. There is no, the Oyo Empire does not exist anymore. The Benin Empire does not exist anymore. We are living in the world, previously the British Empire. We are now living in the world of the American Empire. And the American Empire defines everything in its domain. It is not fashionable to say that we are subject to the American Empire. Yes, it's not fashionable, but it is true. Everything from how we drive. Nigeria wants to drive on the right hand side, we move to the left. Nigeria wants us to use the parliamentary system of government, we move to the whatever it is that we use right now. We once had a prime minister and president. We scrapped that and now moved to having president, vice presidents, and whatever this current system is, right? We once had a different currency, we moved. Our legal system, immigration system, everything about how we operate as a country, we did not invent it. It did not come from us. It came from somebody else, the colonizer. Does it not make sense to study the colonizer's handbook if you want to win here or anywhere? That's what we're saying. Anyway, this is a larger body of knowledge for every aspect of life, right? There's something I always tell my team members, all right? My team members, anybody, my team member, but anybody who works in proximity to me, I always tell them, and I tell them, listen, these are my standards. Anything that we are doing here in this internet space, is it the black man that made the internet? No. Is it the Nigerian or the African? No. So why is it that your biggest inspiration for anything technological is some kind of promotion, no matter how good he thinks he's doing? Why? If you want to learn how to work this stuff, go to the man who invented it directly. If you want any inspiration for anything, whether it's software, graphics, whatever, go to the source. That's it. Learn right from their handbook. Go straight to the Roman Empire and learn that stuff. All right, I was in a Q&A on Instagram on Thursday, like I've been doing for some time now. Q&A Thursdays on my Instagram stories. You know, somebody was saying, "Oh, you always say that for further education, we should go to the US and UK. Well, what about Turkey and China?" I said what I said. Now, please, let me preface this properly. What the masses do is none of my effing business. Don't think I'm here to tell Nigerian people like saying, "Oh, what message you have for Nigerian youth?" None. I have nothing to say to Nigerian youth. I didn't give birth to you. I don't own you. You don't owe me shit. I'm not saying nothing to the general public. Anything I'm saying is just to people who are subscribers to John Obidis programs and people who said, "Listen, sir, we like the way you think. Please, pretty please, tell us the way to go." All right? But some of y'all act all spoiled and shit. Like, so what should we? I don't care about you. I'm not your daddy. I didn't give birth to you. Don't act all entitled. Like, so you're telling us, I ain't telling you to do shit. All right? Anything I'm telling anybody to do are those that subscribed. You never saw me come into your house to impose on you on how to live. I don't care. I don't give a damn what you do with your life. I will never tell you what to do. All right? But here I am in my research laboratory with the knowledge that I have. All right? And if you say, "You know what? We respect how you think. We appreciate your insights, and we humbly, politely request that you share them with us." Yeah, fine. I will share them with those that subscribe to it. So let's keep that shit first. I know there's at least 100 idiots here that are about to say, "Oh, John Obidi is saying that we should not." Yeah, because there were some dumb fucks who went out the other all those times when I was still so generous with my knowledge. Hey, John Obidi said that we should not do graphic design. You stupid fuck. Stay poor. Stay poor. Go to your freaking graphic design. I didn't tell you to do nothing. I was telling my people that subscribe to my superior ideas of how wealth is made in the third world. All right? I wasn't to you homeless people. I was talking to you fatherless people. Now, I was talking to my people that if you want to build wealth, the world is lying to you. The world needs slaves. So they're going to tell you that the path you are on is going to lead to wealth. But no, they're lying. They need to lie to you that what you're doing is going to make you rich. But it will not. Because they need you to keep on doing that to serve their own interest. I said no. All right? And I give you guys a series for free. It was last year, 2 years ago. The Alchemy of Wealth. And I explained the end-to-end process. By the grace of God, I see things around the world that people will study for years in university and not get. It is what it is. And I share with you all. And I told you guys, there are certain jobs that the world needs. And because the world needs people in those jobs, they can't afford to tell you the truth about where those jobs will lead. They can't. Right? So don't come here and say, "Oh, John Obidi Nigerians, I don't care what Nigerian youth do. You want to go twerk your bum for the rest of your life as a profession, that is all you. Do what you want to do. More power to you. You are not my target audience. I ain't talking to you all. Right? Right? Just underline that. There's at least one first timer here that I'm rubbing off the wrong way and feel so entitled or telling me, "No, my darling, I am not telling you shit. More power to the rubbish that you want to do in your life. I ain't talking to you." Yeah, okay? Yeah, but for those who say, "Oh, yeah, I want to listen," yeah, this is for them. All right? Not for everybody. The world is going to always need slaves. When you just get some weird ideas in your head and you think that we are made so, why is not telling me just go do whatever you want to do? You know, you're my responsibility. It's not my fault your father abandoned you and didn't tell you how to make money. All right? Anyway, so for the rest of y'all, what was I saying? What even brought me down to that tirade? Yeah, so like I said, right, time and chance is always happening to all definitions, all right? And for those who are going to win and thrive, you must not be loyal necessarily to what the current definitions are. Almost every Nigerian family has a story like this, where, and hey, probably my story as well, where, you know, your father wasn't poor, let's assume your father was the breadwinner, your father wasn't poor, he was doing well in life, all right? But something hit him in business, in life, and his source of income was impacted, and you guys just from doing well in life went poor. Maybe not necessarily poor, but struggling, and he never got back up. He never got back up. Like, and you guys are just struggling, bro. It happened to me, not me, but my father, and many Nigerians have that story. I mean, of our age grade, at least one in, let me say one in five, I haven't done the numbers, but it's a pretty decent number of people. You know, you were going, your parents were doing well, and one thing just happened, and they're not able to readapt to new realities, and you guys just started suffering. So it happened to me. You know, I think when I turned 3, I was not even enjoying the money well. When I turned 3, everything went to shit. My father never got back up, you know, financially, and it happens, and people don't think that it's ever going to happen to them. They don't think it's ever going to happen to them until it happens. You know, I think it's the trauma from what happened to me that drove me like crazy. I'm telling you, I'm just doing self-therapy now as I'm talking about it. Because it was the way I'm so driven, the way I'm so analytical, I think it's because of what happened to me when I was a child. when I was a kid, right? Like before the age of 3, when my dad lost everything. We had drivers, he had cars, he had lands, houses. But only here I hear them, I was only hearing the gist when I grew up. I really enjoyed those things, you know. And there's some pictures from that time I saw my mom's album, you know, and he never got back up. He never you know. And as I began to grow up and you know, go to school, I'll hear from my classmates, many young kids of my age had the same story. Like, when we were kids, when my dad had this and you know. And now that I'm an adult, I talk to people and it's their story too. All right, okay, cool. That's your parents, fine. None of them ever happened to them. Now, are we going to repeat their same mistakes? Come on now, repeat our parents' mistakes. What was the use of all those mistakes? What was the use of all those hungry nights and all that stuff? It's going to count for something, all right? And the thing here is, that's the only firstborns enjoyed that. Yeah, I was firstborn, so I guess I enjoyed it, but I don't know, man. I don't have any memories. Like the memories from those times are very fuzzy, you know. Yeah. Anybody who grew up in Port Harcourt knows a nursery school called Brereton. Yeah, if you know if you grew up in the 80s or 90s in Port Harcourt, I know it's a school called Brereton. You know that only rich men's kids went there. That's the school I went to for nursery school. All right, yeah. So at least you know what I'm talking about. If you grew up in Port Harcourt, maybe I don't know how this school is doing now, but in the 80s and 90s, Brereton. Ask anybody about the school called Brereton in Port Harcourt. They'll tell you. All right, that's where I went. That's where I went. You know, and then I did your just went to shit. And, you know, you were just like this, like, you know. So yeah, it can happen to anybody. And I guess that just made me crazy about I don't want that happen to me. 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 You know, I don't want to ever be what Nigerians call. You know Nigerians call Otika. Hey. Jesus, not in the pimp pass that kind of name, but they'll give you that name, say Otika. You know the Otika? Ask. Yeah. So when I come into this game and I see my fellow Nigerians being so chill, I'm like, bruh, I've seen poverty. Forget I find. Thank God. I've seen poverty, and it's so traumatizing that I will never do anything illegal, but I'm never going back there. I'm never going back there. So it drives me when it comes to strategy, when it comes to life strategy, when it comes to planning my life. You know, when it comes to planning my life, when it comes to choosing the paths in life, when it comes to choosing where I'm looking. I'm not emotionally attached like most people are. I'm not emotionally attached to, oh, are you saying that graphic? If I look at this thing and I say, bro, there's no money in this thing. Once you explain your idea to me in the first 30 seconds, I can tell you whether this will make money or not. I'm not sentimental. After life, within life, don't show me shit. I'll now be like a desical or sentimental. No, I'll just tell you straight up. You know, ask people close to me like that. Once you start talking, bro, this will not work. Or if it will work, let me tell you where it works. It's not here. and everybody should be like that. I believe that every Nigerian should be like that. You live in a place that is so unstable, currency unstable, climate unstable, security unstable. You've got to be a different breed, bro. You got to be different. You can't be regular. You got to be a different breed. You got to be number one anywhere in the world when it comes to knowledge, when it comes to cunning, when it comes to strategy, when it comes to wisdom. And I think we have kind of that reputation, only that it's in the negative sides, Nigerians. But all things. So especially when it comes to like redefining, like where is it going? Where is it going? Where are we going to be in the next 5 years, next 10 years? Can we estimate, the leadership? I remember like 2015 election, the one that removed Jonathan and brought in Buhari, right? I remember I was watching TV 2015, and at that time again, in the elections, there's usually that period where nobody really knows who has the upper hand. So people are still watching body language of both main contenders and stuff. Because typically, I've had two contenders for a long time. The fact we had 3 contenders was the last election. But we're watching. Good luck, Buhari. Good luck, Buhari. Good luck, Buhari. And then there was one press conference where Buhari was talking about something so passionately, and he began to tear up and he began to wipe it. I said, Buhari has won the election. I called 2 of my closest friends then, 2015. I said, come on, I have a very strong impression that Buhari is going to win. Like, I'm not even looking like, I don't have any sentimental bone in my body to be like, but no, I've seen from this display is what a lot of emotional points. From this display, a general crying, no, Nigerians will be swayed by that and to vote for them. However, the democracy means that usually it is people who are less educated than you, less wise than you, that will determine the leadership of your country. It's not you that went to school that determines who rules Nigeria. It's not It's an uneducated man that is easily swayed by the machinations of modern politics. That's the person that will determine your political future. That's the reality of things. So yeah, from what I can see that the masses are going to choose this as our president. And I call my 2 closest friends and said, in the light of a potential Buhari presidency, how do we draw our wealth strategy for this coming 4 years? We convened a meeting. They came to my small room then, because I never took like that 2015. We sat down. Okay, what does Buhari stand for? What are his? The last time he was president, what were his policies? Who are closest to him that are likely to become his cabinet members? Policy-wise, what do we foresee? Forex-wise, we just started, brainstorming, taking up all those notes, And there's probably many people say about Buhari that it was in a Buhari term that me, John Obidi, I blew. It was in a Buhari term. It was in a Buhari term that I traveled out of Nigeria for the first time. It was in a Buhari term that most of the great things to know about me happened in a Buhari term. All right? Not saying that it happened because he was a great president. I'm saying that whichever way, we cannot afford not to be strategists. We are Nigerians. And maybe my definition of Nigerian is not the same thing as your definition of Nigerian. So you're wondering why is he always saying we're Nigerians? What does that mean? I know what it means to be Nigerian, right? Yeah, I know what it means to be born into the poverty capital of the world. I know what it means to be born into a place that was a construct of the British. I know what it means to be born into a place where traditionally the government is not wired to care about you. I know what it means to be born into a place where we are too many. So it's not a matter of no man left behind. We are eager to leave you behind because we are too many. All right. I know what it means to be born into a country whereas an American citizen gets trapped in some kind of situation in another country, and the American government will do everything in its power to extract that one citizen. If it happens to you as a Nigerian, your own government will ask you, what you go find for there? Oh yeah, I know what it means to be born there. So it means that I have to become my own government for as much as is possible. I have to be my own Minister of Finance. I have to have my own Ministry of Finance. I've got to have my own Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I've got to have my own Ministry of Defense. I've got to have my own Ministry of Works. I've got to have my own Ministry of Interior. I've got to be my own coordinating Minister of the Economy. I must have my own personal economy. I must master it because my country will not bail me out. Yeah. I looked very honestly at my predicament. My name is John Obidi. Nobody knows me. My father was not a particularly great man. Nobody knows him from anywhere. I can't leverage on that name. If anything will happen good concerning that name, it's going to be me. In the light of that, I can't afford to be a regular sentimental Nigerian. And the whole uncommon affirmation. I didn't even know about it when I was living it. But when I knew about it, it became my daily. I cannot be common. I've got to carve my path with strategy. I can't say I have the spirit of excellence exceeding that which was on Daniel and not have the receipts to prove it. What are you talking about? I have an excellent spirit, and then Nigerians are blocked from traveling. I mean, so I'll be blocked. No, now your rules don't apply to me. I have an excellent spirit. Do you understand? I can't be claiming since I was 7 years old. My parents have been indoctrinating me with the idea that I have the wisdom of God in my life, surpassing that which is upon Solomon. And I truly, honestly believe it. I don't care what you think, but I truly believe it. If I have that kind of wisdom, I cannot be under the same constraints that the common Nigerian is, and I will work to it. I will work towards it, not work. Past tense, back when I was thinking it. And that's what moved me. All right, and I cannot expect anything less from you, Mike. I can't expect anything less from you. It's the same thing I'm going to push you into and inspire you to. Hopefully, I have no control over you. I can't tell you what to do, but all I can do is communicate the way I think. Do what you want to do with it. Anyway, I've veered way too far. The point about time and chance I was trying to say was that in the same way that we have been able to analyze that, look, the definitions of what it means to be fast and strong have been changing. And today, even, you would think that the countries that nobody goes to invade are the richest countries. No, North Korea is not rich. It's a very poor country. But nobody dares mess with them. Why? Because they have the current definition of speed and strength. What is it called? ICBMs. Intercontinental Ballistic Weapons. North Korea be like, see, we know that if you attack us, you are going to win. But you know what? Before you attack us, the blow we're going to deal on you, for generations, you guys be talking about it. So, you're like, first of all, we are ready to die. We know that you are greater than us. You are a much wealthier country than us. You have more weapons. You have everything. We agree. But if you attack us, we already agreed that you wipe us out. But that button we press like this, generations of you people will keep on talking. Will not stop talking about it. They have the current definition of speed and strength. So nobody wants to find out. Nobody wants to find out. All right. So what that means for you here, health-wise, is that, and this is what I was going to type in the WhatsApp channel, is that even when it comes to food, the Nigerian, I was going to say the African, but I tend to be very careful about generalizing Africa because I can't speak for the most of all Africa. I can speak for Nigerians though. So, but let me say the African. The African usually still eats. Yeah? Hear me clearly, please. I didn't intend to talk about these things, but it's very important. The average African eats like this is still the 1700s. The average African eats like we are still in the 1700s. We are eating as if we are still on the plantation, right? So our foods are still very starchy. Like, you need the energy for work, but time and chance has happened to the old determinant of survival. You had to have physical strength to work the farms. I'm talking about slavery now, but the times where we did a lot of subsistence farming, you needed physical energy to work the farms and produce. In this day and age, you don't need physical energy anymore. You need mental energy, clarity, right? The American knows this. And so they don't even eat like weed. We are still, in 2026, starch heavy. Say swallow. Let me tell you, I'm Nigerian. Listen, I'm Nigerian. I love swallow. Not because I have a choice. You understand? I've been indoctrinated with swallow, so I've grown an acquired taste. I love swallow like every Nigerian, but I don't touch it. I rarely touch it. Rarely. Like if I touch swallow, it's going to be like a cheat day. Like swallow, I love it. I love the idea of swallow. All our flavorful soups. I am at the point where I can love something a lot and still not make a move towards it. I don't have those sentiments, bro. Our foods are still so starch heavy. You see when they chop like this, meat could just full everywhere. Bro, what are you doing? Right? Back when we worked the farms and we did labor, yes. But now it's about your mind staying agile, right? I've had to go and research on intermittent fasting. Let me not give you guys all the gist. This is inner circle gist. But when I was doing my research in what's it called, nootropics and biohacking, this was in 2015. When I discovered biohacking, I'm like, oh my god. I started learning about intermittent fasting. I started learning about L-theanine. I learned about black tea, about even some supplementations of. I'm looking towards my supplements cabinet now. What's the name of that thing there? Magnesium. That's what I learned about. I learned about magnesium glycinate, right? Things that we don't talk about locally, But if you want, you can easily buy it. They sell it in pharmacies. You just don't know that it exists or what it does. I learned about magnesium glycinate. I learned about melatonin, not to be used excessively, but for sometimes. I learned about, matter of fact, magnesium alone. For those of you that do a lot of brain work and want to be high performance, magnesium alone can solve a lot of your problems, right? But again, do your own research. But I'm just telling you, And because we live in a time, people are doing remote work. You're working on your laptop. You're doing a lot of brain work. You're not moving around as much, but you're doing a lot of brain work. You must know what keeps the brain going. You must know what keeps the brain creative, right? If you are depressed, for like some of you like this, if you are depressed for 3 days in a row, your income will dip in a very measurable way. So you can't afford to be depressed. So can you at least study how you could chemically ensure that you maintain a baseline, Because time has happened to all definitions of what it means to be productive, all right? You can't afford to be eating the way you used to. You must be eating nutrient-dense foods, all right? Some of us that grew up in the lower middle class of society, you have to be warming soup. By the time you warm soup 2 times, all the nutrients are dead. So what are you eating? All right? Again, that was not your fault because you were a child. Now you're an adult. Are you making different choices? Because it's not just make different choices to live well. No, it's a competition. I've been hammering this into your head since episode 1. It's a competition where your mates are more nutritionally packed than you. They will beat you. They'll be more creative than you. They'll be more productive than you. All right? They will see better. They will not fall sick. Anyway, so that's that. So that's about my whole conversation around nutrition and how you have to, study what the new definitions apply to in that department. Right? So that's that. So please, I hope all of that helps somebody here. It just occurred to me that there are some people here whose problems for many years can easily be solved. You change your diet. Also, there's another thing I've noticed. And please don't take it the wrong way. Yeah, don't take it the wrong way. But Nigerian women are lazy when it comes to exercise. Really lazy. And listen, it's not your fault. All right? Your laziness is ancestral. Hear me clearly. I don't say things sentimentally. It's research. All right? There used to be a time, all right, in our history, maybe not in all of Nigeria, but at least we know this for, I think maybe Calabar. Either Calabar or some regions in Cross River, where a woman being fat was considered a status symbol. It's in our culture. It's not your fault. I'm telling you that it's ancestral, right? As a matter of fact, she had to be put in the fattening rooms. It's in our history, all right? That's also a study of history. It's in our history, So in those times when a woman was getting married, she had to be fattened up because it was. Auntie Chinyere, good to see you here. it was considered a status symbol, so that when you were married to that family, you know that she comes from a family where they are wealthy and they are feeding her. So you're not getting married to a poor woman. That was the mindset then. So they fattened her to have that status of, it was a status symbol then. All right, but I guess people didn't know the complications that could come with having all that fat in a person's body, how it affects your cardiovascular health, or about things like your cholesterol levels in the blood, and everything else that come with it, or diabetes. I guess knowledge was limited in those times, right? But how does it cascade down to our generation? A lot of women, especially lower middle class women, because poverty is not always linked with, but is often interlinked with lower levels of education. They tend to say things like, why they go gym now, but fat. I've always told you guys to leave those neighborhoods and environments where people think like that, all right? So why they go gym now? Should be fat. That's their level of education. Inferior. I'm not even saying it's different. Different but inferior. That you only go to the gym when you are fat, or if you are slim, you shouldn't go to the gym. No, that's not why. All right. You go to the gym. How does that sound? You go to the gym to tone your muscles as well. For better bone density, so that your bones can be strong. All right. You go to the gym. You work it out so they can have stronger joints, stronger bones. So it's not about when you see some ladies at the gym, they tend to be lazy about it. Those are naturally slim. They'll go and walk on a treadmill for a while. Sweaty, take a picture of pap, and they're gone. Right. But that's very lazy. For you who wants to be a high performer, there are other goals. You want to be strong, physically strong, all right? Because it's going to help your longevity. It's going to help your productivity, even at the things that you do, brain work. Because why? When you are working out, not running, just walking on treadmill, you sweat more, you go. No, not that lazy stuff. Like you go and actually you lift weights as a woman. Don't listen to what people will be telling you about. Woman, no. You lift weights. Your biceps and triceps should be showing. Yes, your shoulders should be toned. Your glutes. You do those squats. You do do those deadlifts, right? That tones your back muscles, right? Do the squats that tones your thighs, tones your calves, right? Your body should be strong. It affects your posture. It helps you, not the natural slouch you have, it affects your posture. You can walk around even the way you walk, your steps would be properly ordered by the Lord. Amen. Yeah, the way you walk, your posture will be different because all those exercises and all those strengthening of those muscles and those bones, give you a much better and confident stride. All right. It also releases a lot of dopamine in your brain, so you feel better about yourself, right? And women generally don't know Nigerian women generally don't know the long-term benefits of this thing, which is why they let themselves just get lazy about it. It's not just for men. Women need to do that too. All right. Now, when it comes into even the world of work, the women you are competing with, their soundness of mind comes from regularly going to the gym, working out at the gym, sweating on the regular, sweating out in the gym on the regular, and also what makes up their diet, both their nutritional diet and their mental diet. It's the whole game. How do you want to compete? Now, to the go seminar, women in the workplace, but you are ill-equipped. You are moving around with inferior weapons of war. Yeah. So, so you need to do that consistently. Now, this is women. I'm just saying about women because it's a bit new. People don't really talk about why women should do it. Now, for men, it's a given. I talked about men at the beginning that as a man in this modern age, see, I tell you man to man, I don't go lie for you. You can't do without going to the gym regularly. I don't care what the outsiders, as a man, you must go to the gym. All that big belly way that they do. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make you feel bad, but I must tell you as a B, you can't be doing big belly 26 now. You know the work. You know the work. You understand? You must bake it in. Take care of yourself. Bake it into your schedule. Find a way. All right. You have to be strong. The thing that separates us from women is our strengths. Why are we not using it? Testosterone. Right. Push up. Do those things. See. Let me tell again because I'm not really 100% certain about how testosterone works in women, so I can't be really strong on that. But let me tell you, men. See. Let me tell you something. Let me just give you this thing. All right. Put it up to a bet. Hold me to it. All right. Again, I will assume most of you have not been to the gym ever or in a long time. All right. So let me give you a wide range for you. Go to the gym. Start a new routine. All right. And not anything weak. It's got to be heavy. Your body must be sore and aching you and beating you the hell up. All right. Do a proper full body workout routine. All right. For I would say 1 month, but let me say 2 months, 60 days. After 60 days, come back and tell me the quality of your ideas. I'm just saying one small thing. Test me and see. I'm just saying, put me to the test. I don't say things I'm not sure of. Come back and tell me, see, guy, they will not tell you this thing outside, or they will say, but you will not hear where they're saying these things. If you knew, again, I'm talking to men, if you knew the correlation between testosterone and financial success,